Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 11 today, and after all of the confidence of the last episode, despite a defeat, we were in buoyant mood. It has all gone so very wrong. You can see from the team news part of it, I'm sure you can see from the manager performance part of it. It is all crashing down, and it's crashing very quickly. On the pitch and off the pitch, it's all going wrong, and we're now in a desperate mission to get out before it's too late. We face today Edinburgh City and Stirling Albion, the two sides directly below us in the league. And if they both win, we're probably going to finish this in the bottom half. And we didn't expect that even 4 games ago. So let's go and get into it. And fingers crossed there's a miracle from somewhere. But I just don't see it. So if you're looking forward to all of that, a potentially scary doubleheader for us, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily videos from 2 stories, this one and Bangor City, and regular live streams as well. But we've got a lot to contend with today. We'll get to the 2 games in a moment. I guess the big news on the home screen is Matt McCormick. He is out with a broken lower leg. He's expected to be out for 6 to 7 months, was it? It's now down to 4 to 6. But a young player who is improving, who was our real bite in midfield, and the position we were weakest, don't forget, because we'd lost Connor Barron. It's the only one we were weaker than last year, and now we've lost our whole first choice team from it. It really is quite a worrying sign. So he's going to be out, unfortunately, and it's probably near enough the end of his season. But the biggest thing we've got to contend with is the schedule, because since you were with me for the Peterhead game, we won another friendly. We then lost at home to Albion, who we talked about were flying at the start. Mark Malley scored, but we lost 3-1. After that game, despite still being second in the league behind Albion, despite being well above expectations, I had half the team in my office saying that they were unhappy with the dressing room atmosphere and my management. Now, I'm not quite sure what more we can do there. We tried to reassure them, but then we lost 3-0 to Stenhouse Muir, and they were awful. But we did manage to bounce back. So we had a cup game against Thraith Rovers. We won 7-1 in that one. Thomas Collins getting 5, Mark Malley 2, but of course McCormick got his injury. We'd rotated a bit for that one, and we actually kept some of them in. So Sean Bannon in goal being the main one, and I live to regret that because he made a howler as we drew 1-1. We kept Thomas Collins in because of his 5 goals. He had a poor game. We're not getting goals out of James Rose. We're not getting performances out of the new Lone Stars. And it's all just going a bit to pot, and I don't really quite know how. It was all flying along, the confidence was fine, and suddenly out of thin air it's just completely collapsed. So Edinburgh City, the opponents today, we of course faced them on the first day. They're going to overtake us, I think. And in Stirling Albion, who we beat away from home, probably the favourites coming to visit us. We've got East Fife in the 3rd round as well, the side that have caused all this by stopping us getting promotion. And every time we try to apply for a job, we're getting shunned. And I don't quite understand it. Our reputation's not really increasing, despite a really strong season. Despite starting this one quite well, it's still minimal. We've actually got a licence now as well, which hasn't changed anything. But we're not talking about massive jobs. We're applying for semi-pro clubs in the National League, or for a Scottish Championship basement side in Arbroath, for example. And we're not even getting a look in. So I've gone further afield. I'm looking at Ukraine. I went optimistically for the Kilmarnock one, but I feel like we've got to get out here because we're in big trouble. If we go and have a look at the transfer screen, there's nothing happening, of course, now the window's shut. But with those players in, we should be doing better. So I'm not quite sure how we recover here. The club atmosphere has improved again, so I'm hoping that will lead to better results. And of course against Annan, albeit via that mistake, we did stop the rot. So we're still in a good position if we can get back to form. It's just how quickly that happens. I'm going to make a couple of changes today. Of course, Bannon will come back out after that horror show. Mackenzie, the experienced keeper, in. Aidan Berry's back at right back. We've tried to juggle around the midfield roles now because they're the only 2 we've got left. So Critchley and Gould are playing in there. And I've brought James Rose back in up top. But we're back to the position where, aside from the 18, we've only got a 3rd choice keeper and the greyed out player who was offered a deal by the director of football, Pat Nevin. So I might have got that crown out too early for him. But let's get into the first game today and see if we can recover. Is Mackenzie in goal, Berry and Woodcock the fullbacks with Sturrock and Banner at centre half, Todd and Makita on the wings, Gould and Critchley, an unfamiliar duo in the middle, and Rose and Malley up front. No goals in James Rose's game for the last 4 appearances. And even the one he did score in 5 games back, he didn't play well. So let's hope we get a recovery today. It's going to be an important one. If we lose this, the rot will well and truly be set in. After getting that point, we've got a slight chance to recover here. and it needs to come. So let's see if we can do it, but I'm not quite sure how it's gone so wrong. And here we go. Edinburgh City are the hosts, Brechin City on the road, and we need recovery. But Blair Henderson's up there. Lewis Morrison missed a hatful in the first game. Callum Crane's still in. They've got such a good side. Even on the bench, they've got players that would start for us. So let's go and tell them we've got nothing to lose here. Try and get something positive out of them. But even now, look, there's no real reaction. It's really difficult to take. But into the first half we go. And we just have to hope, because expectation isn't there anymore. 15 minutes on the clock, and it's the host coming forward with Jardine in the area. Back post to Harris, there's nobody marking, and Berry got lost there as Blair Henderson shots blocked. Back to Ash the right, back into Harris, it's 1-0. It is all going so wrong. And we thought we were running away with it, and maybe that's our fault as well. We were just as arrogant as the team, we shouldn't really blame them entirely. But the sort of reaction to it, the flying in the dressing room, the coming behind the scenes and moaning about the management. These young lads have got to learn to take responsibility, and we've got a penalty kick out of nothing. Mark Malley is the best taker. It's a bit of a lucky one, and we need him to score. The confidence is shot for the team, but if Mark Malley can get us on terms, it might be a turning point. Mark Malley down the middle and in. The keeper dives to his left, and Malley smashes it down the middle. Probably the infamous Jamie Vardy penalty there. And it is 1-1 with 23 on the clock. Now can we go and get a lead? Well, I was about to say half-time. The 2 minutes of added-on time has been played, and we're still going here with Arnott. No pressure on him. Gets to the edge of the box. Mackenzie makes a good save. Up to his left, tips it over the bar. But I'm not quite sure why we're still playing. The ball comes in from Harris. Banner heads away. Good end to the half for us defensively. Mark Malley brings it down, and I'd imagine the whistle will go any minute. It's been given away, and we're still going. But finally, our blushes are spared. 1-1 at the break. Edinburgh City have been dominant. The expected goals is because of the penalty, of course, which counts as almost one. But aside from that, I'm not quite sure. I'm really not quite sure. The performance isn't there, but we're going to tell the lads to keep it up. We're going to keep them positive, and we just need a lucky break. Whether it's a defensive, deflected goal, an own goal, whatever it is. A screamer from someone. We just need to win, but it looks more like going the other way here. Into Harris at the back post. Holds it up, left side of the area. Into Arnott. Blocked the first time. Falls for Gould. He hacks it downfield. And we're somehow clinging on. Jamie Rose has got a pulled hamstring, so he's going to have to come off. He's going to be replaced by Thomas Collins. 5 goals in the cup, but he was woeful in the league game. And to be honest, with a quarter of the game to go, it doesn't look great for us at the moment. We could do with a change in central midfield, so I'm going to bring Inglis on. He will go in as a deep line playmaker on support. Gould will go in as... what can he do? He can be a ball winner, I think. We should just go for it. Let's stop trying to be so attacking. We'll go back to what we were doing. And Inglis can stay deep line. I know Barham was an advanced playmaker, but we're playing the best side on paper in the league. Woodcock at left back's been poor. Daniel Church on for him. I mean, fullbacks seem to be the new goalkeepers this year. I haven't seen a fullback get a good rating consistently. We're 20 to go. We're still in this. And to be honest, if we can start an unbeaten run going, a point's not necessarily a bad result. So let's see what Mason can do with this goal kick for the hosts. Long downfield towards Henderson, flicks on for Morrison, and it's going to be 2-1. What a bad goal to concede. Really bad. Straight over the top. One flick on from the little man, and another one puts it in. Sturrock losing headers, it's not great. But we're back at the other end with Berry. Malley's crosses blocks. Berry gets it again though. Second chance, Gould gives it away. They're dallying in possession and we're missing this midfield. Banner's just been turned. I've seen concrete move out of the ground quicker than that. It's ridiculous. He's gone through on goal and Mackenzie saves. What has happened to this side? We've changed next to nothing tactically. We've not made much of an impact. And I know the McCormick injury's done a bit, but we were already on the streak by then. And I don't get why they were so quick to complain. We were expected to be in the bottom half and we've given it away again. We are leading to every single bit of our own downfall. The boys are breaking every tactical instruction we've set. And Edinburgh City are completely rampant at the moment. Jardine's got it on the right. We just can't get out of our own half. Handling puts it in. Morrison's there. And it's straight at Mackenzie. We're going to start berating. Because this is so frustrating. It's doing my head in the way we're playing at the moment. I'll say this now, in 15 years of Football Manager, I have never seen a team go from so brilliant for a year and a quarter to so suddenly awful. I've never seen player morale turn so quickly, which is something else to be considered, because we only lost 2 games and they were in there complaining, a side with no reputation essentially in this league. But Arnott picks it up again, over the top to Morrison. It's turning a range of emotions out of this series as Arnott gets it for the third time. Back to Jardine, they look like they're going to wrap it up. 4 minutes have been added on, and we can't fight back if we don't get the ball. Berry does get it, gives it straight away. Gives it straight back to them. Arnott forward to Henderson, to Morrison. Just wide of the post. We're going to go attacking into stoppage time. But I don't know what to say. It's been another poor day at the office. They've been the better side, Edinburgh City, and they deservedly win. 2-1, and we only got a goal because of a penalty. It wasn't any magical play or fantastic build-up. But we've told them it's a good effort. We've got them inspired and motivated. But that's got to turn into something on the pitch at some point. At the moment, it's empty words. It's empty reactions. Because as soon as we get out there, we look inferior to every single side. So the defeat leaves us behind Stenhousemuir, a 6-point gap to Albion at the top. What on earth's happened to them, I don't know. Peterhead, Stirling, us, Stenhousemuir level, Edinburgh a point ahead. Elgin only 2 behind that. They had a good result. And Cowdenbeath, obviously they were in the playoffs last year. We can't rule them out. So conceivably, we could be down to 7th by the end of the episode if the fixtures are falling right. So let's hope we can bounce back against Stirling. I said it today and it was a poor display. But surely, 2nd time lucky. Or 5th time as it is in the league. Let's go and find out. We'll be back in a moment. Well, we've had to come back midweek because there's a couple of very interesting and possibly attainable jobs that have come up. Darlington in the National League North. Semi-pro now, but a fallen giant because of the financial troubles and the rebuilding back from the 8th tier. They're a side that I could really get my teeth sunk into. I quite like to manage them. It's just whether they can offer us the same or more money. If we can gradually creep south, I've got to apply for it. Because they've got a good little side there as well. I'm also looking at you-know-who, Cliftonville. The job is up. They're 10th in the Premiership. It's a chance to get a team up the league and towards Europe, which will increase our reputation. Joe Gormley is still there and a very good striker. And I think they've probably got a few of the old boys there. The likes of Michael McCrudden. One of the players they signed, Dare O'Connor's still there and he's very good. It's a good little side. And I'm intrigued as to whether we could succeed with them. They're a bigger reputation club, so I don't know if we'd get it. And of course, I know we've managed them recently on the channel, but in this career, we have to do what's realistic. And I think applying for that job is. Even if we get experience of an interview, it would make a start. So let's apply for both of those, but the Darlington one interests me. They've still got Adam Campbell, a former Newcastle youth player. Will Hatfield was at Leeds and Accrington back in the day. He's a good experienced player now. They've got the former Bolton man, Nicky Hunt. Loads of appearances for Big Sam's side, played in the Premier League for years. Good sort of leader in the dressing room. And more experience in goal with the likes of Joe Anyon. I like the look of that side. So let's see what happens. But if not, we'll be back for Stirling Albion. Well, we're back to face Stirling Albion. And one of the keys with applying for jobs is that we're meeting our expectations at our current club. And if we lose this one, we might fall into the bottom half. And that means to the board we won't be. Even though the media ones are lower. More worryingly, a lower reputation club than Brechin, we've got 1.5 star. Unfortunately, Darlington only 1 star due to their current plight. They rejected us within a day just to say we hadn't made the shortlist. They still hadn't even found a manager. They just said no to us. Now, at the start of the game, we probably could have got that job if we hadn't joined Brechin. So joining Brechin and overachieving seems to have actually reduced our reputation from the start of the game, where we had no badges or nothing. And don't forget, we've got a coaching badge now as well. I really don't quite understand that. Is it just because we're on a bad little run at the moment? I don't know. But with the performance last weekend, it wasn't a disaster. What we really need is to sort out this centre of the pitch, but I don't have a way of doing it. I'm going to bring in Kieran Inglis. Do you know what? I'm just going to go back to what we were doing last year. Advanced playmaker on support and a ball-winning midfielder on defend. I know those guys aren't natural at it, but I feel like we have to do what we're best at, and that seems to be it. If James Rose keeps failing, we might have to even put in a holding midfielder and just really solidify things. And to be looking at emergency solutions did not seem to be what we thought we'd have to do 5 or 6 games ago. It's incredible that we're in this position. And if Stirling beat us today, they overtake us and we fall out of the top half. So let's go and get into the second game. The same 11 with the exception of Kieran Inglis in for Critchley. And who knows how this is going to go. We're probably not going to win it, but we need some sort of positive in the performance. Let's see if we get one. Interesting to note, in that pre-match analysis thing, Joe Gould was complaining about almost everything. So is he possibly just a bad apple? I don't know. Can we end the James Rose goal drought? I don't know. It's been such a bizarre spell. It really has. We'd won every single game. It was 10 in a row of the end of last season and this current season in a normal league campaign. And I just don't know where it's all suddenly gone wrong. One defeat against the recently relegated side who are expected to finish above us. And the boys have completely collapsed. Again, no shots in 20 minutes. Stirling Albion completely on top. But we have got a free kick with Woodcock into Banner. And that might be the turning point. I know I've said that in nearly every game, both off and on camera for the last 5 or 6. I said when we won the cup game 7-1, surely we'll be back now. But that is a big, big goal. And what we need to do now is just grind out a win. At the start of the season, I guess that's the one thing we can say, is we were winning all of those games 1-0, 2-1, really tight into stoppage time wasting. We weren't blowing teams away. And if that stops and you start conceding goals, potentially you can see why it goes wrong so quickly. But at half-time, despite the little scare at the end of the first half, it is 1-0. We've only had that one shot. Stirling have had a fair few chances. But we've managed to get the result so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our hands in our pockets. We're going to say there's room for improvement. Let's get them motivated. I need James Rose to end the goal drought. If he scores one, he might well get 4 or 5 in 5 games. But as it is, it's not really happening. And it looks like grinding out a dirty, ugly 1-0 win. And just hoping that we can build on it. At the hour mark, Makita is absolutely knackered. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to put Inglis out on the left and Critchley in the middle. That's how we started this season, don't forget. So let's see if that works. 20 minutes remaining. Still no highlights, which is exactly what we want. But look at the stats for Stirling Albion. I know they've been the better side most times we've played each other. Even when we beat them before. I mean, they were the best side we played at the back end of last year. Now, Malley's having a worse game than Rose. But Malley scored goals recently and Rose hasn't. So I'm going to bring on Thomas Collins for Rose. Just to try and give us a goal threat up there. But with that change made, we've got a throw in on the right-hand side. It's going to be taken by the fullback, Aidan Berry. And I'm not quite sure why nothing's happening at the moment. He finally does pick up the ball, Berry. And it's a good bit of time wasting to Mark Malley. Back to Gould, in towards the box. Malley's there! Mark Malley with a brilliant finish. We left the right man on, and we lead 2-0 against Stirling Albion. Surely this is the day. Surely this is the moment we come back to form. I've got to take Jamie Sturrock off because he's on a yellow and he's tired and he's not playing well. But can we get a third first as Woodcock puts it in? And the goalkeeper beats Malley to it. But he's starting to poach again. He's starting to get in there. Now please, nothing silly. Critchley to Sturrock. Over the top to Collins. He could wrap it up here. Collins! Oh, it's tipped onto the post. Good save, but the confidence is back. The swagger's coming. And we're starting to look good. Michael MacArthur on at centre-half. Sturrock replaced. And we've got 15 minutes to see out. The time wasting is there. And with the ball in swinging from the corner, it's starting to look good. Down to 10 minutes. We are counting down the seconds. We'd love to have 5 subs on a season like this. But it's a free kick for Stirling Albion from the left with Scullion. MacArthur gets there and he wins the free kick. I thought that was going to be a penalty. Oh, it's a second yellow card. Chris McLaughlin's off and it's our lucky day. We had 3 red cards early in the season against us and that helped us get victories. And now one more should have completed the job as Matty Todd heads away a throw-in. Scullion's chasing. Malley just flies in. It's an awful tackle. Thankfully doesn't make contact. Todd blocks the cross. Berry gets there. Can we play out now? Carl Banner to Berry again. This is more like it. This is more confident. Gould loses out in the air, but it falls straight for Banner. He finds Todd with a directed header. Back to Banner again. I'm not sure why he's so often coming out from the back there. Scullion picks it up in a centre circle though, and Stirling Albion will still fancy a grandstand finish here, but they're not going to get it. Critchley nicks it high, puts in Collins down the left. Malley's making that run into the middle. Collins tries to cross and it's blocked, and it falls for Kieran Inglis. Early ball into Malley! Oh, it's offside. He puts it in for 3-0, but the flag goes up. But it is going to be a victory, and this was so important. We've got another chance here on the right with Berry. As we move into stoppage time, Mark Malley, back to Berry. The confidence is back. It's into Todd. He's through in the box as well. Back to Collins. And Thomas Collins makes it 3. 5 goals in the cup game, but his first in the league for the club. And it is Brechin City 3, Stirling Albion 0. And this is exactly what we needed to bounce back. We weren't the better side. The expected goals is higher for Stirling. They had twice the amount of shots. They had more possession. but we got back to our threat on the counter. A very good win, some confidence back in the boys, and back up to the promotion places and in the title race. I am so glad that came today because we were running out of options. And look at what would have happened if we'd lost. We would have been down in 6th place. If the goal difference had been the other swing, we would have been down. So that's a really good start for us. It hopefully boosts the reputation again. It gets us back in that race. Albion Rovers keep winning, but if we can stay second behind them, surely they'll slip eventually. Edinburgh City held, Peterhead drew with them, Stenhousemuir lost at home. The league's tightening up in the middle, so we want to try and pull away as much as possible. But I really needed that. I didn't know where to turn, and if that hadn't happened, we'd have been in big trouble. Matty Todd only out for a week, that's good news. Nathan Jones third favourite in a championship sack race. I was wondering why we were being shown that for a minute. I just want to see if any other jobs have popped up today. Port Talbot's an interesting one. I'm not going to go there, but they're a club on their way back up, which is nice to see. Stockport in the National League. We won't get it, but I've got a soft spot for Stockport. I've talked about it on the streams. So we'll go for that job. And in Sutton's another one there. They're a side in non-league who can't really go that far because they're semi-professional in a largely pro league. But they've got some really good players there. Harry Beautyman's the key man. Who else have they got? Craig Eastman, the former Arsenal player. I mean, it's a massive step up in quality, isn't it? If we look at the players that are in those sides, I think we'd be silly not to go for it because it is a big step up. So move back. I could go and live at home again for this one. We've got to think about the outgoing costs as well. So I'm going to apply for Sutton and I'm going to make that a thing actually. Any National League job and then big ones in the north and south. So let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back. Hopefully this will lead to a lovely little run of form now. We'll try and get through in the cup, but of course it's not the priority. The league is firmly in our attention span. So of course, if there's any job news, we will come back for that. But otherwise, I think we'll do the last 2 games of the calendar year. Annan and Stenhousemuir, 2 sides I haven't shown yet this year. I want to spread the love around, give everyone a few games on camera. And then that works quite well, because at the end of the window, we can then do Peterhead and Annan or something like that. Or maybe even just a single header, particularly if there's a big transfer window. You never know what Pat's got in store. So we'll be back for that, but if you did enjoy this episode and finally a return to winning ways in the league, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Thank you for your support as always, it has been absolutely incredible. As I'm recording this a week in advance, the Head Coach episode 1 is verging on 3,000 views. So thank you so much for that, thank you for all the love and support with it. It really does make a difference. You can check out the Bangor City Saving the Eye above as well. The first episode of that getting close to 1,000 now too. So please do go and give that one a try as well. And make sure you subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to get alerts every time we're going live too. You can check out the podcast channel in the eye above. Loads of interviews with pros and fun content between the 3 of us as well. But a big thanks for watching, your support with this series and the channel. And I'll see you next time as we try to stay in slightly better form with Brechin City. Or perhaps a new job on the cards.